Well, I wanted to kind of take a second to show you guys this amazing piece of Americana, so to speak. These, of course, were very popular 60s, very much so in the 70s. I inherited this a few years back, probably over a decade now, from my aunt who passed away, and it's been in storage. Unfortunately, it hasn't worked since the day I got home. But I keep saying I'm going to fix it. She knew I was into audio and vintage gear and musical equipment and stuff like that. So she left this to me. This was something that she had in her home before she went in the nursing home. And it's a, you know, at one time, I imagine this was a beautiful piece of art in her home, as these were very popular back in, I would say, the early 70s especially. And for those of you who don't know who this is, it is a stereo. I'm sure y'all do, but if you don't, there you go. And you can tell by the sign of the times you had an 8-track player. And then you had the AM/FM stereo. And then you had your turntable. All this integrated in this kind of a doubled as a coffee table with integrated speakers. This is not any kind of anything that looks, it looks like there's a drawer there, but it's not. And to show you the kind of condition it was in, you know, it came with this, still had the hang tags from when she bought it. Isn't that cool? So I'm not really sure when it was made, but there's your specs on it. So solid state. It was not a tube, but an 8-track tape. Phase Q4 circuitry. Wow. So that was really neat looking at this stuff again. I hadn't thought about it in a long time, and it came with some of her tapes that she was into. We have Lawrence Welk. That's the most requested TV favorites. And there you go. Roy Clark and Buck Trent. I'm not familiar with Buck Trent. Yes, I am. Yes, I am. Roy Clark, of course, one of the greatest guitar players of all time. And Kiss an Angel. Good morning, Mr. Charlie Pride, folks. And these 8-tracks, well, it's hard to do it with one hand. They're still, you know, in really good shape. The unfortunate situation, I'll leave Lawrence out for a second, is that it powers up. You know, everything appears to work, you know, even the turntable. I haven't tried to change the speeds in a while. It seems like the last time I turned this on, the turntable would not turn off. But that's not the case today. It looks like it's turning off. So, but here's what happens when you got, right here, if you'll notice on the front, you got, you know, it looks like remote speakers, which would be like, you know, RCA ins and outs, which are on the back of it. So this had to be 70s. And I guess this is that mixing sound that they had. But when you turn the main speakers on, like right now the main speakers are off, this is what you get. And, you know, nothing comes out of them. I have not tried to hook up any speakers to this yet. I haven't. I got to get me some RCA cables to do it. But so far, get on out there. You know, even this, watch this. But nothing. No sound comes out of them. Nothing. And everything seems to work except for the sound. I've even plugged in headphones just a little while ago. Nothing comes through. Very disappointing. So let's take a look at the back real quick. Let me pause this. So as you can see, we have you know, RCA type of inputs and outputs. And I have not tried to hook up an existing pair, or I should say an external pair of speakers. So there you go. Oh, that's kind of So, okay, I didn't realize this was on the back. So you need some more speakers for that. This just doesn't have any regular speakers out. Excuse me. For those of you who know more about this stuff than I do. Well, remote speakers, yeah, you do. So I'm going to plug in some regular speakers and see if I can just get it to work that way. But because it's not coming through the headphone jack, I think I'm wasting my time. And, you know, I'm sure there's a copyright date on here somewhere. Can you see the serial numbers? I can't tell you. But that's what I like right there, folks. Look at that. Is it packaged? I can't see without my glasses. Well, thought it said made in America. Maybe it's not. But it sure looks like it, doesn't it? It said packaged in America. Oh, it's a product of America, I think it says. I'm looking at it from an angle. So when you watch the video, you'll know what it says. And I'll know what it says when it goes on the video. But I noticed that when, you know, like if I turn this on, and let's see, I turn the speakers on the front. There's this button. It doesn't, I was hoping I would fix it, but it doesn't. And if you push it in and it does catch, because of this, it's a circuit breaker reset is what it is. If you turn it back on, it'll pop it again. But anyway, I thought it was really kind of cool, and hopefully one of these days I'll get it to working. If you got any suggestions, right there is where the remote control, if it had a remote control sat, and it had to because it's got a remote button, right? Is that the same thing? Maybe that's for the speakers. Yeah, that's remote speakers, never mind. But that looks like where a remote control might have clipped, or maybe, you know what that was? That was the insert for the 45s. That's exactly what that was. Never mind. I'm just rambling now, talking to myself. But if you got some suggestions that's, you know, helpful, you know, shoot me some links or some information. Maybe I'll get it fixed. If you're an electrician, give me some input. If not, just thought it was cool to look at anyway. Something different. And back in the day, this was the jam. You know, before home theater systems rocked the nation. You know, she had Lawrence Welk, but oddly enough, I've got some old 8-tracks too. You know what? I think I got one here in my collection of stuff. Hold on one second. So I went over and pulled up some of my you know, I got a lot of collectible junk. This junk is not worth anything, but just neat to have. This was Cheech and Chong Up in Smoke soundtrack on 8-track when it first came out, probably. And then this was Gene Tracy. I was heavily into stand-up comedy when I was a young guy. This guy was a raunchy comedian, and used to find all his tapes in truck stops across the USA. And when I was a kid, man, it seems like I picked that up at a truck stop on my way up to Charlotte, North Carolina, or Greenville, South Carolina, one. And, you know, kind of hid it in the suitcase away from my parents. Listened to it when I got home. You know, had Richard Pryor live in concert like that too. Anyway, so those were some stuff I had kind of tucked away. But anyway, very cool stuff. I won't even try to pronounce this name. It seems like this was a kind of a low-end product name, because it seems like I associate that maybe with, maybe not such, you know, like Kenwood or Bose or anything like that. I think that was kind of a low-end model name, and this is obviously a different branded turntable. They probably did a combo deal with this stuff back in the day. But I found it interesting. Hope you did too. Thanks for watching.